out there tonight?
Whoa. You stumped me now.
Check out our website, mannimalresearch.com. Thanks to everybody. Hello. How's it going out there tonight? Hope that everyone is doing well wherever you are. Those of you that will be catching it live tonight with us, and those of us that will catch it later. We sure do appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us. As you guys can see, again, my partner, Mr. Walls, isn't joining us, and just like last week, he's got a good reason for that. He told me that I could talk a little bit about it, so I'm going to. I want to ask everyone to keep Walls and his wife, Jen, and their family in your prayers. Jen's father isn't doing well. He is still in the ICU. He's been there for a little while, and I don't know how much he wants me to share, but he told me that I could say something. But I think he had, and there's something going on with having some issues with his brain, and need your prayers, guys. If you don't, our last couple years, I've turned to God, found God, and devoted my life to Him, and do a lot of praying nowadays, and gonna have some especially for Jen and Jasper and their family. So, and all you guys, if y'all pray, ask that y'all do it too. All right. See who we got in here tonight. Bobby Younts, how are you doing? We got Rick up in Oklahoma. What's up? What's up, buddy? Hope everything's going well up there. Bigfoot Mama. Greg, how's it going, Greg? Saw Greg yesterday. Got to talk to him for a few minutes. How's it going, buddy? Scottish Wild Man. A buddy from work, Max, you're in here. How's it going, bud? Glad you could make it. Flat Rock. Glad you guys could come hang out. Wanted to say hello to a few of our regulars. All right, like always, guys, if y'all haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button for us, please. Sure would appreciate it. Also, if you are not a member of Mannimal Research on Facebook, what's wrong with you? What's your problem? Everybody's got a Facebook. Don't kid yourself. You have a Facebook. I mean, you might not tell everybody about it. You might have a different name, but you got a Facebook. Go ahead and go on over there and join Mannimal Research. We would appreciate it. And like always, our guest tonight, really interesting guy. He's out of Oklahoma. I'm going to talk a little bit more about him here in just a second. But if you're going to, I'm sure you guys are going to have questions. You always do. But feel free to ask him. He's expecting them. But if you do ask a question, I ask that you put it in all caps. Just me again tonight. So makes it a little bit difficult for me to catch them all. I think I do a pretty good job. But guys, help me out and put them all in caps so that they jump out at me and I can get them to you. And I'll go ahead and apologize to you guys if I miss a question. And if you ask it and I don't get to it, feel free to type it out and ask it again. I'll do my best to get it over to them. All right, all of that out of the way. Tonight, we have with us Mr. Brian from Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations. Brian he's the founder of Red Dirt. This is his YouTube channel. Guys, if y'all don't mind, head over there and hit that subscribe. He's doing some cool stuff up in Oklahoma. And the reason he started doing it was, like a lot of us, you catch the bug and you try to get out and get some information in your area and find out there's not much. It's one of the reasons I started doing, what I'm doing down here in Tennessee. He couldn't find out much up in Oklahoma, so he decided he was gonna start doing it himself. So that's what he's been doing, and he's doing a really good job. I've watched a few of his videos. He goes out. Not only does him and his team do investigations, they do nighttime investigations, daytime, like we do, but he actually goes out, tries to go out to the spot where an guys, am I back? Somebody in the comments, let me know if I am back. Am I back? All right, I think I'm back, guys. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I guess my Wi-Fi cut out for a second. Told me to try again. So I think I'm back. Like I was saying, got Mr. Brian on. Brian's up in Oklahoma. He is the founder of Red Dirt Cryptid, and yeah, basically took it upon himself to get out there and start doing the stuff on his own and gathering some info. And said he's been doing a really good job going out to the the places where some of these incidents have happened. And yeah, I think that's something that I think we should start doing is going out and talking to some of these eyewitnesses actually where it happened and putting that on there. I think that's a really good idea. All right. All of that being said, if Mr. Brian is ready, we will bring him on. There he is. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, glad to be here.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, sorry about that little interruption we had. It didn't last too long, but we're back on.
Yeah, I feel you with the internet problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how you doing, bud? Glad that you could make it out and hang out with us tonight.
Man, I'm awesome, and I mean, I'm glad to be here, and I'm honored. Thank you.
Good deal. Good deal. Talked you up a little bit. Before we get into it, tell us a little bit about Red Dirt. Why you started it, and about your members and what you guys do.
Well, my members, I've got a few guys that go out with me. It's kind of hard to get them all five out out at the same time. You know how scheduling is. I got my brother James and Jeff Hatfield and Micah Doan and Luke Doan. And we have another member, we call him Mr. X, the mysterious Mr. X. And we're based out of Enid, Oklahoma, which, to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot of cryptid activity in my county per se. But coincidentally, there's not a river that runs through Garfield County either. But all the surrounding counties and whatnot around us, they all have cryptid activity going on.
Yeah.
And so we try to get out there in the field and see what's going on. So
Okay. Okay. Very cool. How long you guys been doing it?
Um, well, we kind of, I guess you could say we went public back in 2019. And that's when I kind of realized that, there wasn't a whole lot for my area in Northwest Oklahoma. Um, we've got some groups that are working in other parts of the state, good solid groups, but there wasn't a deep, and there are investigators in Northwest Oklahoma, but I just didn't see like a online presence that really catered to Northwest Oklahoma, and they're here. Well, they're
Mhm.
everywhere, but you've got to get people to realize that it's part of the battle.
Yeah. So, what got you started? What got you interested in this line of work? And before that, what was your level of knowledge? What did you think about the subject?
Well, I've always known about Sasquatch. I've always been probably since I was a little kid. There's always the movies and stuff like that, and it just got to the point to where as I got older, being a hunter and a woodsman, spending a lot of times out in the woods. I've been a scout leader for years, and I just I love going camping. I probably go camping 2 or 3 weekends a month, all the time. It doesn't matter what time of year it is.
Lucky
And
man.
well, I try, and but after you spend so much time out there, occasionally you start running across stuff that you just can't explain as a woodsman. And I can explain a lot of strange things in the woods, but I would run across things that you just couldn't explain by natural means, and stuff that you knew wasn't human behavior. And that, so I always knew that there was something going on out there. And but I really started digging in and doing some educating myself probably 4 years ago. And that's when I really started getting into doing online research. And that's actually when we started actually going out in the field and seeking them out. We've only been doing YouTube videos for about a year. You could say I'm kind of technologically impaired, but I'm
Mm.
learning. I'm learning. So, but we've got a YouTube page with I don't know how many videos I've even got. But
Let's see if we can find out here.
I've only been doing it for a year.
Okay. There's a few on here.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll have a lot more. We started a Facebook page about 2 years ago. And, there's in my area, there's a lot of, I guess you would say, negative bias in our area. Nobody believes that there are Sasquatch or any type of cryptids in Northwest Oklahoma. So we've actually coined a term for it. We call it the demographic phenomenon bias. For instance, if you go up to Oregon or something like that, everybody talks about Sasquatch, this very matter of fact. But in our area, is if you believe in Sasquatch, you're some kind of idiot.
Yeah.
In different areas, different regions, it's worse and it's better. And ours is about as bad as it gets.
Bigfoot Mama asked if we could post your YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys can see it there. I've got it pulled up, but it's Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations. So, guys, get over there and subscribe. Get him some new subscribers, guys. And
For
I'll
sure.
try to add it to a little post here and put it up there for you guys if that's too small for you to see. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you're finding out there, Brian. You told me we spoke on the phone last weekend, and you told me a pretty cool thermal story. That I guess that'd be a pretty good one to start with if you wanted to share it.
Oh yeah, that wasn't even a month ago. Um, well, I occasionally I have people that call in and give me reports, and we had this one area that we suspected that, especially Mr. X, he suspected that there might be some activity in that area because all the habitat and everything was there. And so this fella called me and he was talking to me about how he had heard, some monkey sounds out at one of the lakes, one of the other lakes that we've been doing some research at. And that wasn't the first time I'd heard people reporting monkey sounds. And so I just got the idea. It's like, well, maybe I could find some high quality monkey vocalizations online, preferably something without a bunch of background with static and whatnot. And so I downloaded those onto my phone and we took a loudspeaker out there and we found a place that was right on the road. And we set up where there was a circular tree line and we kind of started, for lack of a better word, we started call blasting. And we just basically blasted probably 15 seconds of monkey vocalizations really loud into our target area. And it was me and Mr. Hatfield and this lady named Laura. And we basically were scanning with thermal imaging equipment to see if anything would come out and take a look at us. Logic told us that, they weren't going to just come right up to us, but they would probably come up to the edge of the tree line and just stop and watch us. And that's exactly what they did. I don't even think it was 5 minutes. And we had a great big, huge thermal signature come up to the edge of the tree line and it stopped. And it was just sitting there. And Jeff was the first one to see it. And he was checking it out on the FLIR. And, you could see at a distance, you can really only see, kind of a blob type thing. And, but it was a vertical upright heat signature. And you could see that seemed like it was getting bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller. And we realized that it was actually behind a tree and it was peeking in and out like they'll do, how they'll do. Mm-hmm. And at a distance, it made it look like it was getting bigger and getting smaller. And it sat and watched us for, I don't know, probably 10 minutes or so from the tree line. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to get some good quality video of it because I don't know if you've ever had one of these FLIRs. Be careful what you buy because the one that I bought, it doesn't have any video out capability.
Wow.
Oh man, I tell you what, I kicked myself in the butt for that over and over again, but it's really good for looking, but you can't record anything.
Yeah.
So hindsight's 2020, but we got to look at it and we didn't get to record it, but it was really exciting. And I think that I think that the theory of going into an area and call blasting monkey sounds into an area and seeing if something comes to check you out, I think that could save some researchers, investigators, field investigators, a lot of time in locating, where they're at and where they're not. But it was a really good time. But a truck ended up coming, and then we never saw it after that again. So.
Yeah. Now, one of the videos that I watched on your channel was you went and interviewed a lady and her son. You guys were on a bridge. That sounded like well, tell us about what happened there.
That was a fun one. And it for what it's worth, it's kind of tough to get people to go on video and do so I really appreciate her doing that. And that was basically her and her son. They'd been out. They were out in the middle of the night driving around doing. I can't remember the name of it. It was some kind of app. You'd have to watch the video, but they were doing this app that takes you to haunted places or something. But anyway, they were they were driving around, at night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and they stopped on that bridge because, you know, people like stopping on bridges at night. And I guess they parked their car and shut it off and walked out on the bridge. And I think the first thing she did was she whistled, and something. I think it was. She said she whistled and something whistled back, but then she made some other kind of noise at it, and or maybe it was an owl noise that it made. Yeah, it was an owl noise. But I guess she hooted back at them, and I guess there was multiple what we think is Sasquatches down around that bridge, and they all started screaming at her at the same time. I guess it scared her and her son really bad, and she said that it sounded like they were actually, you know, coming up on them, like they were coming to get her. And I guess they ran and got in the car and they hauled butt. So it must have been very exciting.
Oh, yeah, I can
The
imagine.
cool thing was is she said that different ones were making different sounds. She said that one was making a sound that sounded like a really big, loud owl. And she said that one sounded kind of like a coyote screaming. And I think she said that one of them sounded like a monkey screeching. And I guess they were coming from multiple areas, and it sounded like it was coming towards her. And of course, I'm sure that, you know, in the heat of the moment, she probably was pretty scared. And
Oh, yeah.
so, you know, it's kind of hard to, but I guess they took off and they reported. And that was up in Kansas. I drove all the way up to Kansas for that. I love doing that. It's one of my passions, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Now, I heard that on one of your nighttime investigations, you had some pretty hairy activity go on. You were sleeping in your hammock, right? Well, tell the viewers
oh
about that.
yeah. Well, it's kind of a funny story of dumb luck. Okay. Um, we were planning on going down to southeastern Oklahoma, and we'd never really been there before. Well, actually, that's not true. I'd been there once before, but we'd kind of joked around and said, well, where are the Sasquatches at? And we're looking at a map. And I said, well, let's go in between these two rivers right here, and kind of put my finger down as kind of a joke. And because we didn't know where else to start. And so we ended up going out there and we started fishing, and we were catching fish and we were having a good time. And then all of a sudden we realized we had about an hour before dark. And so we very hurriedly just found the first campsite that we could find, and we set up camp. And we were many miles into the national forest, and so we got it set up, and we stayed up till probably about midnight talking, you know, like everybody does around the campfire. And then we went to bed. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I got woke up by something making this very loud, deep mouth pop sound. And the best way I can describe it is this, you know, that noise you can make with your mouth, if you know, like that.
Yeah.
Now, it was like that, but it was deeper, much deeper, and it was louder. It was very loud. And this thing, I mean, it woke me up out of a sleep. And I waited a little while because, you know, when something first wakes you up out of sleep, you're like, was that my imagination or did I hear something? And so I waited around for about 5 minutes, just kind of listening, you know, how you kind of do, especially when you're in a new area. And then all of a sudden, I heard it again, and I was like, uh-oh, this ain't my imagination. And so basically, what I ended up figuring out was that there appeared to be two creatures moving around our campsite. One was staying stationary to the north of our camp, and it was making these popping noises intermittently, like once every 5 or 10 minutes. The other one was moving around the camp, and it moved around, and it did a couple of different, went around in different areas, but then it actually approached my hammock. I was sleeping in a hammock with a tarp over it, and it came within, I'm going to say, about 15 feet of my hammock. I don't know what its intentions were, but what happened is it stepped on a stick, and I heard this stick snap on the ground. And when it did, it made this noise. It was like this sound of just like it was totally just exasperated with itself. It just went, huh, like that.
Like, uh-oh.
I just ghosted myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm laying in my bed. I'm laying in my hammock, and I've got my Glock. I've had my Glock. I eased my Glock up, and it was on my belly, you know. But I realized very early on that I didn't even have a round chambered in it, and there's no quiet way to chamber a round in a Glock. So I was just laying there, and I come flying out of that hammock, and I chambered a round in that gun. I didn't fire, but I started screaming. And I was screaming at Jeff to shine his flashlight, Jeff Hatfield. And I didn't even have a flashlight in there. I was so unprepared that night. And we didn't think we were even in the target area that we wanted to be in, honestly. It's kind of funny. It's just dumb luck. But it ran off. I heard it run off. You could hear the feet just go, and it ran off. And so we were up and we talked for probably 10 minutes or so. And then we decided that the best and the smartest thing to do was just to go back to bed, because we didn't want to scare it off, And to be honest with you, I could tell by the footfalls and stuff, it wasn't that big of a creature. It was definitely bipedal, but it wasn't like some, 12-foot, 1,000-pound that shakes the ground when it walks. And so we went back to bed, and long story short, they came back, and they went and got in the cooler, and that was pretty exciting because I thought that the cooler was on the ground by the pickup truck. So when I heard the cooler lid open, you know how those old Coleman coolers, when you open the lid, they go,
Mm-hmm.
Well, we heard that. Jeff and I both heard that cooler lid open. And I just told myself, well, we'll just have to check that in the morning, and got up the next morning, and little did Jeff or I know, but Micah had actually taken the cooler and set it in the back of his truck, right in the middle of the pickup. And so whatever it was that opened that had to reach up and over into the pickup truck to open that lid. And I honestly don't see how any animal other than a man could have done that. And
it kind of rules quite a few things out, don't it?
Yeah, I mean just picture it in your mind. I mean, there's a cooler in the middle of the back of a pickup truck. How do you get into that without making any noise? If it would have been like a coon or something, we would have heard him climbing up the side of the pickup truck or something. But no. And trust me, I was wide awake after that situation. There was no sleeping after that.
Yeah.
And but we found out the next morning that it was in the back of the truck. And that really kind of freaked us out, because we were 13 miles from the nearest blacktop road into the national forest.
Wow.
I mean, we could, if anybody would have driven a vehicle or a four-wheeler or anything within 3 miles, we'd have heard it plain as day.
Mm-hmm.
And it, I mean, no human being would be able to walk up on our camp with no light, no nothing, and I mean, even walking up the road, by moonlight or something, that's a long walk, and it's just super improbable.
It sounds like you guys are doing something right. You've had a couple of really interesting investigations that you talked about, it sounds like you're getting out there where they're at, and that's a lot of times that's the hardest part is finding where they're at.
Well, I think it's easier in Northwest Oklahoma. We don't have as many big forests like they do down in southeastern Oklahoma. All the main heavily wooded areas are in strips along the rivers and the big flowing creeks. So, we have about 80% less area that we have to consider. And I would say that it's kind of like deer hunting. Out here we hunt the funnels. Where deer can stay close to cover, they're going to stay in cover. And if you just set up a deer stand in the what we call a funnel, it's where the woods get kind of real narrow and then they spread back out to another big patch of woods. If you hunt that funnel neck, you're going to have a lot better deer hunting. We've been using that principle to look for tracks and to look for sign, and stuff like that. I mean, it tends to make it a little bit easier. We may have less Sasquatch in Northwest Oklahoma than they have in Southeast Oklahoma, and I believe that they do have more, but we have less area to cover.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it does. Yeah,
And we got
yeah,
a
it
lot
does.
less rocks, and rocks are not very conducive for finding footprints.
Got a question here for you from my buddy I was telling you about actually, Rick up in Oklahoma. Says, which national forest were you in?
That one there was the Washita National Forest, and if you really want to know details, that was north of Broken Bow Lake.
Yeah, Rick actually lives in Norman, I believe. So I think you
Oh
said
yeah,
you're a couple hours from him.
yep, yeah, Norman. Yeah, I'll have to visit with him.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can set that up. You sent me some pictures, and I think that we'll go ahead and start getting into those and let you share them. But this first one, man, when you sent it to me, I showed my wife, and I said, "What in the heck is this?" She said, "Well, it looks like a black sheep." So I don't know. So we're gonna pull it up here, and I know from talking to you that you guys hadn't been able to figure out what it is, and maybe some of our viewers, y'all start chiming in and giving us your opinion on what the heck this thing is, and you could tell us the backstory and all that. But you got it on the trail cam, right?
Yeah, it
Okay.
wasn't me. The story behind that is some that picture was taken on some family land of mine. You know how you end up having some land that's in the family,
Mm-hmm.
and it was taken. That picture was taken by my cousin's trail cam. My cousin had no idea. It showed up on his trail cam. He's not into this cryptid anything, and he basically had no idea what it was. And my cousin is one hell of an experienced woodsman guy. He's uh, he's just a hell of an outdoorsman. He had no idea what he was looking at. He sends it to my brother. My brother sends it to me. And my brother, he's like, I know what I think this might be. What do you think it is? And, because my first, well, I hate to go on record as saying what I think it is, but it's got curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
But I know where this picture was taken. And my cousin, a lot of people are saying stuff like it's a squirrel or it's this, that, and t'other, but I'll tell you a little something about that trail camera. It's tied to a T-post. There is no trees, no nothing around it. It's loosely, the T-post is just probably driven in the ground. I don't even think 12 inches, because all it's doing is supporting the camera. It was just a quickie thing so he could watch his feeder. And this thing, that camera is mounted at the top of the T-post. And this was 2 years ago. And we don't, whatever that is, it's standing on the ground.
How high is the camera? I think that's what we need to know.
It's probably about 5 foot in the air.
Okay.
And a couple years ago, I was foolish enough to throw that out on some random internet site, and I don't know, within about 45 seconds, I regretted it. I had people accusing me of, faking and lying and all this stuff. And, stuff like that's why nobody shares anything other than
Exactly.
And it's a shame. I actually
Yeah.
have two
You
more
don't need to
pictures.
get me started on stuff. I've been on rants on this show so many times. There's so many good pictures out there, so many good videos that people don't want to share because of what you just explained happened to you. It's crap. And you want to know, I guess you did get me started a little bit, but
it's okay,
you
brother.
You want to know who's first in line calling you fakers and hoaxers? Other researchers. Other researchers, because they didn't get it.
Yeah.
You could have the most clear picture video of you could have a picture of a couple Bigfoot mating in your front yard, just groundbreaking stuff. And they are going to say, other researchers are going to say that's CGI. That's two people in a costume. You're a faker. You're a hoaxer. And all this stuff. And it's because they didn't get it. There's so much arrogance and belittling, and I don't know. I'm gonna stop now.
What I like is the people that just post fake. Okay, here's my thing, and I actually did a video on this. I think I called it something like manners in Sasquatch research or something. And here's my thing: if you wouldn't say it to a man's face,
don't type it.
Don't type it.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I don't put up with on my Facebook page. Now, I understand there's a difference between voicing your opinion, but a lot of times if people get on there and they're like, "Oh, that's fake," I'll get on there and I'll say, "Well, what makes you say that?" And I've called a few people out on that stuff early on, back in the day, and we don't have a whole lot of it now. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen on my Facebook page, but my Facebook page is a pseudo safe place, I guess you could say. And I try my best to monitor that kind of stuff, although I'm not, I'm not deputy dog on the Facebook, but I will put an end to it. And if somebody's a habitual problem, they'll go away.
Absolutely.
You got to. But it's a shame. That's what's wrong. I actually think I made a comment on something today. I don't even remember what it was. I'm just tired of hearing it. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to take the time to explain why you think that it's not legitimate, you need to shut your hole.
Absolutely.
That's all I got to say about it.
You're 100% right.
Be a man.
One of the things that I was thinking, I believe Audrey was the lady's name. She commented it, and I pulled it up here. Was it kind of looks like poodle hair, because when you think of dogs, you think, how many dogs have curly hair? And I mean, the poodle is the only one I can really think of. But where do you see many 5 foot tall poodles?
I have no idea. Like I said, there's 2 more pictures that go with it. And
no, you didn't send me those. Somebody just asked if we had any more pictures. Were they any better?
No, that's probably the best one. There's another one of what you're looking at is what I think is the back of the head. And there's another picture that's similar to that one, where it's cropped down a little lower, almost like it's shrinking down. And I've got another picture of what looks like it is turned around, and it's down very, very low, and all you can see is just like this much of it, and it looks like its ears are pulled back, and looks like it's peeking up to see what in the heck's going on.
I wish you would have sent me that one.
Well, I will.
Okay.
I will. And if people reach out to me, if you care enough, hit me up on Messenger, and I'll share the other pictures with you.
Awesome. And go ahead and join his Facebook group while you're there. What's the name of your Facebook group?
It's just Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations.
The same thing as your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have an alias name and Facebook profile. It's a Red Cryptids. So that's my AKA name.
Okay. Let me go back here and get this question real quick before I miss it. Mr. Greg, Greg is actually a member of our research team. He wants to know, Brian, what vocalizations did you use while he said, while sound blasting, call blasting? Really good question. I'm curious too.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I did is I just got online and I typed in, and I'd be more than happy to share them with you, but I'm actually using the device that I downloaded them on to talk to you right now. And so if I get in there and start messing with that, it's probably going to disconnect me. But it was just some random monkey vocalizations.
Okay.
And I will share the ones that I was using. If you just hit me up on Messenger, I'll send them to you. I mean, they really weren't anything special. They were just, I think the difference is like all the Bigfoot vocalizations that you're going to get off of the internet, they all have one thing in common: massive amounts of static and background noise, and I have been hunting coyotes for many years, and I know that you can't have that. They can tell when it's not legit. And if you start sound blasting something with that much static and background noise, they're going to know immediately that something's up. And these things they're a hell of a lot more smart than a coyote. All right.
Yeah. I think we all agree with that.
That's why up until this point, I've never even bothered, because I never could find any Sasquatch vocalizations that were what I would consider to be a quality recording. Now you can hear it and you can get a really good idea of what you're listening to. But as far as like reproducing it and producing a quality call, there is nothing out there on the internet that is worth, blasting out into the, it's just not worth it. It's crap, for, turning around and call blasting. That's why I went with the monkey calls.
Yeah, I think that's pretty smart, using the monkey calls. And as Greg can attest to, because he was with us, my group, Mannimal, the only time we've ever tried call blasting, he was with us on that investigation, and looking back now, we probably shouldn't have used this. And I was told before not to, but I mean, I wanted to, so I did it. But we used the Sierra sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say don't use that because you have no idea what they're saying in the thing. So, I mean, we could have insulted them. I don't know. We didn't get any action from it. Yeah, we exactly. We didn't get any action from it. So, I don't know. But it sounds monkey sounds could be the way to go, man.
Well, it actually, I think it'll take effect in two different ways. Number one, the biggest one is just curiosity. They're highly intelligent, sentient critters. They're going to hear something that they haven't heard before. They're going to come and check it out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why if you're going to do this, do not blast any more than like 15 seconds worth. Because the longer they listen to it, the more of an opportunity they're going to have to realize it ain't real. Just let
Yeah.
them hear just enough to get their attention and pinpoint the location, which 15 seconds will do it, and then shut it off and don't hit it again. If they're in that area and they heard you, they will come to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good advice, I think.
Mm-hmm. Don't let them sit there and listen to it over and over and over again. It's a bad idea. Bad hunting technique too.
What I'm trying to do here is a couple of people have brought up some pretty interesting ideas. Rick said, what about, or I think it was Audrey said, llama, kind of looks like a llama, and Rick said maybe an alpaca. Have you heard those before?
Yeah, I've heard people bring that up. And as far as I'm concerned, that's possibly the best one. But keep in mind,
Well,
I know, but look at how long the ears are on that.
exactly. That's what I was about to say.
That and honestly, that's the best. But we know all the neighbors in that area. Nobody in that area raises anything but cattle. And there's no, if there was anything like that over there, we'd know.
Those ears are a little bit shorter.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I guess it's not even worth asking. If you knew of anybody that was raising llama or alpacas around there, you'd have your answer probably.
Yeah, no, we have kicked that idea around, and it was considered, but there aren't any over there that we know of, and we're down there all the time.
Okay, so have you gone and investigated this area where the picture was taken?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you? I guess did you go and check it out after the picture was taken? I'm wondering if you had a chance to look for prints. Is what I'm trying to get to.
Well, the picture, I can tell you this. I don't think that the picture wasn't in my brother and I's hands for several weeks. This camera is one of those ones. It's not one of the high end ones. You have to actually go out, get the SD card out, take it home, and I'm going to speculate that nobody even saw that picture until possibly even a month after it was taken. And I know the
Yeah. Is
area,
it?
but as far as going out there and looking for tracks, no, I didn't. Um, I'm
It's
speculating.
clearly. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
Uh, sorry, I know that the picture is definitely worth considering. It's it's kind of an old hat picture for me at this point. I've
Yeah.
spent a lot of time looking at it back in the day, and just it just looks like a hairy bat or something with the ears, or but it's just I have to. It's just like any other blob squatch photo, guys. It doesn't prove anything. I,
Nothing.
I I give you my word, it's not faked in any way. But the truth is pictures and videos, and they ain't gonna prove it nothing anyway. And you can stare at this thing till you go cross-eyed, and you're still gonna come up empty-handed.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, but
Now,
I will share with you the other pictures though.
okay.
They're just that one's probably the best, but they are. I know I scratched my head on those for weeks. It just bugged me.
Now, had a question a minute ago. One of the viewers. I'm not going to go back and find it. I'll just ask you. Do you have any? Do you guys ever take any track casts? Do you
Yeah,
have any?
I I do have a couple, but that's one thing that we really haven't started doing. I haven't. I just started doing that. I have ran across tracks in the past, but the first cast that I ever the first track that I ever cast was about a year ago, and it was juvenile tracks. I've run across a bunch of tracks that were pretty large that weren't worth casting because they were so, I guess you would say, just either old or or just Yeah, crazy. That's a juvenile track that's basically out in the middle of nowhere in Canton Wildlife Management area. That's actually a small print. I think that one was 7 inches long. But if you look closely at it, you can actually see that whoever it was barefooted. And that area that you're looking at, the ground, was actually part of a boggy type area. And whatever it was had walked out into the bog, stood there, turned around a couple of times, and then left. And then the water and the heat of the summer dried the water out and left the impressions. And I got the impression, being an amateur tracker, that whatever that was walked out in there when it was full of water. And my guess is it was catching tadpoles or something. I'm guessing to eat.
Yeah.
And it's probably a pretty decent food source for the young ones, especially. But I don't know what kind of parents would let a child run around out there barefooted. I mean, the terrain, it would just be hell on your feet.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, and the sharp grass that this thing walked through to get to that little water hole, that dried up water hole. I mean, there's no way I would walk on that barefooted.
Well, what is that at in the middle there?
That is just some kind of trash that was there, and I just didn't move it. It was I'm trying to think of like a reed, a piece of a reed or something.
Okay, I didn't know if it just might have been something to kind of illustrate size or anything like that.
That was probably the first set of what I would consider to be legitimate tracks, and that I'd run across. And at that time, I wasn't carrying a ruler like I do now for that kind of stuff. And now that is Scotty's from my video. Scotty, he lives in Ark City. That's a photo.
Interesting.
Yeah, he took that picture right outside of Ark City, Kansas. And I mean, like, with almost in city, it's probably in city limits, honestly.
It's definitely barefoot.
That was in February.
It's got a very, very thin foot and long toes, it appears.
Mm-hmm. That was that trackway. He had an extended series of tracks, an extended trackway. I don't have any photos of the actual trackway, but it basically, whatever it was, it came out of the river, walked along the bank, through the sand, and it had the typical, long stride, but it wasn't that long because it's not that big of an individual, and it had the the feet that were not offset like humans. But he shared that one photo with me. But that was taken in February. And so whoever it was running around barefoot in the river in February. I don't know about you, but I just,
not a good idea.
Yeah. But we're actually actively right now kind of pursuing the Ark City and the Arkansas River area in southern Kansas, and we've been having a lot of people calling in and talking about it, and Scotty's been doing a lot of my my field work for me out there because it's a 2-hour trip for me. But there's a lot of people that have watched Scotty's video, and they're overcoming that bias, that local Kansas bias, that there couldn't be a Sasquatch in Kansas, and they're starting to reach out, just like Trish. These people are out there, they're seeing stuff, but there's nobody that they can talk to.
Yeah.
And they're turning to the internet and they're typing in Kansas Bigfoot, and my little rinky dink YouTube show pops up. because there's just not a whole lot of information for people in Kansas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, your little rinky-dink YouTube channel might turn into something then, if there's nothing, if there's no other way for people to get information, they got to get it somewhere.
No, I dang sure don't do it for the money.
Yeah. I heard that, believe me. So, what we got here?
Oh, that's a couple of my guys. That's Mr. Jeff Hatfield and Mr. X. And they are heading off on a kayak trip up into the Canton WMA.
Okay. Okay.
People
Yeah, I see that
greatly
they're in kayaks
underestimate.
now.
What?
I see they're in kayaks now. When you sent it to me on my phone, I couldn't tell what I was
Yeah.
looking at. Yeah.
The Canton Wildlife Management Area is a massive wooded area with a lot of deep, deep woods. People greatly underestimate what kind of cover there is for these large mammals up here in northwest Oklahoma. We've got a ton of deep, dark woods. People don't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, are these your guys?
No, actually, that's a group of folks that I went to the Hanobia Bigfoot Festival with.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to go with some of the guys from the North Canadian River Project group, which I highly recommend you check them out, and the NOBRO, the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization.
Hmm.
We sometimes go out with them. It's hard to find good people in the field that you can trust, and we've learned that we can trust them. As a matter of fact, the guy in the middle, the hairy guy,
Yep.
his name's Ryan White. He's the Squatch Ranger. If you've ever seen his work, and he helped me set up our web page, and because I'm a technology illiterate, and he
Huh.
helped me with a lot of things, just to be able to, so that people in our area could see, and actually have access to information.
I'm trying to find somebody that can help me with our webpage.
Amen, brother.
I had it up, I built it myself, and I just wasn't happy with it. So I took it down, and I just don't know enough know enough about that stuff. So I am
It's
on the
tough.
lookout for somebody that can help me.
It's tough, man.
And I know it. What this looks like an interesting tree structure. A couple of bends there.
Yeah, that's when we went down there that's actually down there by Hanabi, and just south of there, we were driving out in the wild in the national forest, and we stumbled on that and a couple other little tree structures in an area that's kind of known to the locals to be a hotspot area. And I just thought it was very strange how those young trees are bent down and back around, and there's three of them, and they're all perfectly aligned, and it just seemed very, very odd to me,
That
and I
is
thought
odd.
thought I'd snap a photo. I just thought it was a very peculiar tree structure of sorts.
Yeah. And maybe one of these days, get enough people out doing serious research, we can figure out what some of these tree structures mean.
I know it's one of the biggest mysteries. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think anybody's ever even seen a Sasquatch making them.
I don't
So
think so either. Um, like the tree breaks, we those
yeah,
baffle me, and I was talking to some guys at work about that just the other day. A tree, I mean, you got like a sapling that's inch and a half, 2 inches round, 8 foot tall or 10 foot tall, and it's
yeah.
snapped at a 90-degree angle, 7 foot off the ground. I mean, you reach up and you try to grab one and break it. I can't do it. I don't know of anybody that can.
I'll tell you what I found down at one of our family farms a couple of years ago. I was just walking through this area of deep woods. I found this hole in the ground where something had pulled a tree out of the ground, and it was just gone. And you could tell by looking at it and looking at the surrounding trees, this tree was probably 3 or 4 inches around. And I looked for the tree. I made a circle and just started working my way out looking for this tree. I never found it. Whatever it was, just pulled this tree out of the ground and walked away with it. And
Really?
the amount of strength that takes to do that kind of stuff is just, and I was so far in the woods, there was no way that somebody could have got in there with like a Jeep or a winch or anything like that. It was just too far in there, and it was fresh too. And yes, I did look for tracks, but it had rained. So these things have got to be just unimagineably strong. I mean, I can barely pull weeds, some of those big weeds out.
I know it.
I
know it. But I mean, you think about it, and a skeptic will argue the wind. There's not enough surface area on those trees for it to break. I mean, the wind might push one over if it came
Man,
through hard enough, but why would it break it seven? I don't know.
I've got a video on here where Mr. Hatfield and I went out and did an investigation at Salt Plains Lake, and we found this little small area where all these trees were just destroyed, but yet everywhere else around it, they were perfectly fine. Now, yeah, in Oklahoma, people like to throw words out there like it's a microburst or maybe a little tornado just sitting down that one spot and then swooped back. Sometimes you just got to go with what the easiest answer is. Something broke those trees.
Yes.
I don't know why they do it. I've always thought that maybe it was like a tantrum thing that the males do, but who knows?
That Hawkham's razor?
Yeah.
The most likely answer is usually the correct answer.
Right. I mean, I've actually got video of all those trees broken, and then I'll spin around and I'll show you the trees around it, and not a single one of them are broken. Not a single one. But that one little locale area was just totally smashed, like Hulk smash in there,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, man, what I tell you right before we came on, how long the show would take. We've been on for over an hour. Does it feel like it?
It don't take long, does it?
No, it sure doesn't, man. And yeah, so that's probably gonna do it for tonight. But man, it was great. And if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you back one day.
Oh, I'd love it. I can talk about this stuff all day.
I know you've got some other stories that you can share, and I know you guys aren't done either. You're still getting out in the field, and you're going to collect more stories that you can share.
Yeah, I love camping, and I love the outdoors, and this cryptid research just kind of fell into place with what I was already doing.
Absolutely, it's awesome, man. Tell everybody one more time about your group and where all they can find you and all that good stuff.
Well, my group we're dedicated to bringing cryptid awareness to Northwest Oklahoma and southern Kansas area. Really, now we go all over. If you've got an encounter and you would like to, I'm interested in anything in Oklahoma, really. And we document it. We have a interactive map on our website, thanks to the Squatch Ranger, and you can actually go to that map and you can see where I've documented some, and it gives a brief bio on it. That's one thing that we really believe in is sharing. If every Bigfoot, Sasquatch research group out there would have some way of sharing some of their case files, that are not quite so, of discrete nature, we could advance all this, 10 years, this research, 10 years. Everybody is so proprietary and borderline stingy with anything they know. If we would just all share a little, I think it could do amazing things. And if you go to our webpage, which you'll find a link on our Facebook page to our actual, and it don't expect a whole lot because it's a Google site, but you can go over there and you can see, some of our case files. And I am behind on it. I need to get with it, but I believe in sharing, and I want to share the things that are not, not confidential. We do have a lot of people that report things that are totally confidential. We'll always respect that no matter what. And but other than that, that's kind of what we're doing, is we're just trying to get the word out. We're trying to share, and we go out and do field research because it's fascinating and fun at the same time.
You're right about that. You're right about that, man. So everybody head over to Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations on YouTube and subscribe to his channel, and look him up on Facebook too, guys, and join his group. Help raise some awareness out in Oklahoma.
Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come on and share with us. I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Man, I really appreciate you. Thanks.
Good deal, buddy. Hope you have a good night, and we will stay in touch. All right, bud.
Okay. Take care.
See ya. All right. How about that, guys? Heard you interesting stuff tonight. Another good guest. Again, guys, keep Walls, his family, in your prayers if you don't mind. They're going through a rough time right now. Just see him through it. Help see him through it, and maybe her dad can beat this thing and come out of it, and everything will be okay. I certainly hope so. Guys, you got, like always, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for choosing to hang out with me on another Sunday night. We got a few more shows booked. Pretty much the rest of December is booked with guests. So hope to see you guys back each and every week. And like I always say, guys, be good to each other, and watch out for each other. And we appreciate it. You guys take care. Have a good evening.